Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. And with me today, I have Don Schwanker, Dan Flagel, myself, Mike Steinitz are your county supervisors. Elisa Smith is our county auditor. Bjorn Beck is our IT person, and Luann is our executive assistant in the background. First on our agenda this morning is Mr. Todd Keeney, our Jackson County engineer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
First item on the agenda is a review and approval of utility permit for press and telephone, the board fiber optic to a chicken barn, I guess, so they can watch TV. I don't know, but
It probably runs
It's
software
going
for
to the-
temperature monitoring and things like that.
yeah, I'm sure it's for the setup of everything.
Pandora.
But yeah,
Music.
they're boring the road, so I don't see any issue with it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second approve the utility permit for pest and telephone company as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, the next one is they're both driveway permits. They're existing driveways that meet the site distance. They're actually gonna be permitted now, and then so we can issue a 911 address. So they're existing driveway, we're gonna issue 911 addresses.
So they were field entrances first, or they were?
No, the one is they're both Class D residential. So I don't
They
know
always
how
been?
they got, I don't know how they got built or not permitted and then not have a 911 address, but now they're gonna have an address, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Wonderful.
Motion,
Both.
are we doing them both at the
Oh.
same time?
Can we do both at the same time?
Yeah.
I just need to make it. I'll make a motion to approve both of them. Okay.
I second this.
I got a motion and a second to approve Marcelo Capacious and Steve Capacious's interest permits as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Then I got some general things I wanted to discuss with you real quick about when you want to talk about these in the future. So I had in my notes that we were gonna try and set up a work session to talk about noxious weeds. Is that something you still want to do?
When do we publish noxious weeds?
Publish that in March.
So if there's something on there you'd like to add or take off or change on our ordinance?
Or you just
I
want to talk
know.
about how we implement it.
From time to time, we add noxious weeds, from time to time, we change lingo a little bit. Not
Well, so the discussion I've had, people have approached me about it is, you guys through your ordinance, put the onus of noxious weed control on the adjacent property owner. So the question is, do you want to take over or do you want to provide additional noxious weed control? Because we do mowing, obviously, that's a part of it. Then do you want to do any spraying of noxious weeds? Because really that's done by conservation now, but I think it's on a pretty limited basis. This would be more like of a countywide type of initiative. If you guys don't want to do that, then I think you just continue with what we're doing, but.
So I think we talked about that too, and we actually talked about it in our budget talks last week, because conservation is actually asking for an individual for more park restoration and upkeep and maintenance and secondary road help with spraying and some of that stuff. But if we can combine it with county, work together at it, that's what I'd like to see. I understand the mowing part of it, but that's more for vision than to clear back far enough. Is that correct?
Well, so anytime you have, say, if there's weeds in the first, 5, 6, 7 feet off the edge of the road and you mow that, you've effectively controlled noxious weeds. It would be from there beyond to the edge of the right of way.
Not a right away, so we're not talking to right away. Years ago, I remember, and probably too long ago because I'm old, but it's a point that most property owners would have taken control of, if you call it to the fence line, if that's what you want to call it, because I don't know if it was exactly on the right of way, but that's back in the days when they had fences and made fences and had them for livestock, and now there's not a lot of that around, but some of these old fences are still there, but they're grown up. You can't even see the fence and they don't maintain them anymore. They, you know.
What would you like to talk about in this work session?
So it's, if you want to have a more robust, spraying operation, like actually outfit a pickup with a tank and a spray boom, or hire a contractor to spray half or a third of the county. If you want a more robust program, then we need to talk about it. If you don't, then we don't need to.
I think we need to have a work session.
So I guess too, because along with that, we have had conversation about a piece of equipment for just that purpose. And then we're talking, of course, budget. If we have a more robust program, we're talking budget. Lisa?
So my question that I have is, because Nate is coming in today to pass a resolution for the Jackson County Integrated Roadside Management Plan. And it was adopted last year. So I guess I have to ask, how is that affecting you? Are you part of the plan? Because that was according to Jeannie, when I talked to her, she said that the plan was done in conjunction with Jackson County Secondary Roads.
Yeah, so I reviewed the plan way back when,
Okay.
and I didn't really have a lot of input because I didn't think that the secondary road would be involved, because the spraying was all done out of conservation. But what I was hearing from different people around the county is that maybe we should be,
Doing it on a larger scale?
yeah, we should be maybe putting more effort into weed control. If you guys don't want to do it, I understand.
I do want to do it, and we talked about it for 3 years or 4 years, but we kicked the can. And I especially like to start on maybe our paved roads or hazardous intersections somewhere where you get up to the stop sign, you almost gotta get your nose of the car to the pavement to see, you know, that's.
So I've talked with Jeannie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I always want to say Janine, but Jeannie,
Yes.
about working with her about if we need to buy additional chemical for treating all the trees and brush, you know, we've been cutting. We can do that, because I don't want to do where we've been mowing and brush cutting with the skid steer. You know, I don't want to go back and have all that kind of, I've been sending her maps of where we're doing it. So she knows come spring, will actually it'd be spring into summer when the trees, when that stuff starts to actively grow again, she's gonna spray it so we can keep what we got mowed under control. That's one thing, but weeds are a different thing. So brush and weeds are kind of
Yeah.
together but separate, you know?
Yeah.
Now the contractor, Weezer, who's doing all the big tree removal, he's doing his own under contract to treat all the trees he's cut. So that's being taken care of. So I guess the point is, Jeannie's kind of got a little set up side by side, kind of, I think, spraying thing, which is fine, but what I was hearing, the thought was we wanted a more like an industrial kind of like a bigger process, a bigger.
I don't remember how big the last one was, but I'm sure it's on the pickup, and I've seen it along the roadside and I've seen her using it.
Mhm.
But I certainly think, yeah, we need to have a work session or discuss how we can improve our, you know, does this get us into, the habitat thing, July 1st thing somehow too, or?
So how do I say this politically correct?
Because the long-eared bat is.
No, that's different. That's for tree cutting, but, so, conservation
Under
typically
different rules?
don't want to kill vegetation, habitat, that kind of thing. So they're very particular about spraying and applying chemical and that kind of
More
thing.
spot spraying.
Yeah, so then you have the flip side of that, the farmers like secondary road engineer types, like if it was grass from edge of road to fence line, that's more snow storage, that's less issue, less obstruction. So you kind of got to find a happy medium between the two, because conservation typically doesn't want to kill plants and vegetation. And you have this other faction that does. So if you want to have a work session, I think it's probably too late for budgeting for this year, in my opinion, but I guess it's not, because you don't approve a budget.
No, we're
yet,
not
but-
done yet.
Mhm.
I
So,
mean,
but I would definitely think you need, Jeannie to be at the work session, because whatever you want to do initially, I think you probably need to get her input about what, if you told her, hey, we want to spray every centerline mile of paved road, she's gonna probably have to work out what that's gonna cost and if she can do it, and then come back with a proposal, and then you'd have something to work with.
So would it be logical to have Jaden, Nathan and Jeannie have a sit down before they come to our budget work session and bring a recommendation or say, this is our thought, this is
Well,
our.
yes,
math,
but
this is our-"
they need a scope, like what scope are you talking, if you're talking only paved roads, we can start from there and work from there. If you're
Well,
talking about,
I guess what I would be looking for is to have you guys have that conversation, bring it to us kind of like you did with the retrieving of the roads. You're like, we're gonna do X, this is what we can budget and this is how it looks to do a quarter and we do it over
Yeah.
4 years type of thing versus, I think last year you said we could do the whole county, spray every ditch in the county for about 75 grand. You know, what are the numbers? Cause I can tell you what I'd like to do, but it might not be feasible. So,
we'll come up with options and then we'll come back to a board meeting with it.
yeah,
All right,
Or
sounds
we can
good.
have
Or
a work
work session.
the
session
work session.
and kind of discuss it more and then bring it back.
But
to
I don't really wanna start from scratch when you come to the work session. you know.
Well, I'll have options of cost,
Yeah,
so you'll have
yeah.
like, so like there'll be the full scale option, I'll say, we hire a contractor, we spray every center line mile. Here's the deluxe, if you will, here's what it's gonna cost. And then we'll say like, okay, we're gonna spot spray the entire county. And then maybe Jeannie will work with Jeannie about, here's a cost, or we'll have Jeannie spray the paved road system, like maybe something like that, and you guys can pick and choose from
Yeah.
that.
Because if I remember right, last year, just spraying the ditches the way you want, it's kind of like a big boom sticking out about 30 feet and spraying everything, but then you run into, did it blow into the farmer's corn
Grandma's
and
corn.
alfalfa and all that kind of stuff? So, I know that was discussed a little bit, so.
Yeah, so like on the contractor, if he does crop damage or damage to bees or other habitat. They have to file a certificate of insurance and they cover that. They have to go out and mitigate those claims, so.
But if we're spraying it, then that's on us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. All right. Canadian Pacific Railroad, if you recall. We responded back again saying we were gonna consider taking over the road if we made some changes. Well. I've been through a couple iterations. There was kind of a radio silence from them for a little bit, but now they've given that back to me. And I guess would be general accordance with what we were proposing. So what is the next step? Do you want to put that on the agenda to discuss in like formally or? Cause I sent you the email back, cause you had asked about why don't they move the siding to a different location that causes less disruption and they basically said, you have the reasons why, but.
They basically had an excuse that maybe they didn't think of that and that they've already moved forward with the way they have it, so they weren't gonna change it. It sounded like.
They
that
have
to me.
significant investment in the current alignment, I think is what they said.
Railroad's been hot topic.
Honestly, so, yeah, I seen that.
So they're making it a wide road and all that kind of stuff? or-
So they've widened the road to the cross section we had asked for and they've reduced the. Guardrail installation to just be around the curve, basically. And then we asked for this turnaround down at the bottom, so our guys can go down and turn around there, so that's in there. I mean, that was the three basic things we were asking for.
So whether some residents are really gonna strongly oppose this, of course, but, we certainly need another access to them residents. If that intersection is blocked, we certainly need another. in it. So either way, we're gonna have to pursue it or move forward with it, or if they're not gonna change it, move it south. We have to have another way in there.
Well, so the options, if you recall, we initially denied the request to take it over as a public road.
Right,
So then
They
it's a
were gonna
private
have
road.
to maintain it.
So then they somehow using whatever leverage they have, they said, well, if you consider taking it over, then we might come up with this quiet zone.
right. So,
So I wasn't a part of that whole initial discussion or negotiation or
Okay,
whatever you wanna
so
call
what's
it.
your
but
recommendation?
I don't have a recommendation. I don't know the board's agenda. My recommendation is we put it on, my question is, do you want to put it on for formal discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
Cause you gotta figure out what happens to the other side of the tracks. Okay, there's the turnaround, all that kind of stuff, but. Are they gonna basically put a retaining wall? Because that's a steep. Where the highway is dropping down where they're gonna put this road, that's gonna be quite a bank.
No, it's a significant slope for sure. So my question is, if we put it on the agenda, do you want to invite a rep from CPKC to be here or no?
sure. if they'll come. I mean, I talked to three of them, one from Washington DC and one from Oregon, one from, but we never heard back. They were gonna keep constant contact with us, but we never heard back, so.
So then, I mean, as far as the people from Bellevue area, do you want to invite certain people or just put it on the?
Well, I don't want 50 people, no, but if they want representation, certainly they should have representation, especially maybe somebody close to that intersection.
I was thinking I've been dealing with Meeks, is that right? Meeks. You should know.
You're thinking about Terry, are you thinking about Terry B?
No, you don't live down there.
Wasn't it?
No, it's Greg.
Greg Hammond.
Greg
Greg
Hammond.
Hammond, that's
He
it.
lives, he don't live down there either.
He doesn't?
No, he lives up in the quiet zone.
He wants a quiet zone.
Okay, so I'll put it on the board's agenda and then you guys can take care of inviting whoever you want. So I sent you a draft snow fence policy.
Yeah,
Yes. So,
I have a lot of questions about that also.
so when do you want to put that on for discussion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does that, so my first question about that is, does that need to be put on before we do budget? Or settle on budget? Cause I don't know what kind of volume talk about.
Yeah. So I would probably just budget an amount. Probably say $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and then we stop. And if we take so many agreements, it's our choice whether we take the agreement or not. So once we get up to our budget amount, we just say we're not gonna do it anymore.
We're gonna have kind of a designated area of where we want.
We're gonna,
I mean, we're
Well,
not just gonna let
obviously-
this farmer go, I'm gonna leave this because I want some money.
No, obviously you could drive the county right now and wherever they're 6 foot high, that's probably our worst spots, you know?
so we're gonna pick and choose the worst spots. And I would probably, I envision us taking the initiative, going out to, mid-Flagle and say, hey, this section of road across from where you farm is just bad. Would you be willing to enter into this agreement? And it's not just a free trees thing where everybody gets money. No, we're gonna approach where we want to do it and enter into agreements that are priority for the county.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. There's several things in that proposal that I have questions on.
Okay, so I'll put it on for like this time or like a work session thing. What's the difference?
Work session.
So when are work sessions? Like after this
After the
meeting?
meeting.
Okay,
And then if everyone's still welcome, public's welcome and whoever's welcome to sit in on the work session.
okay.
We just don't take up a lot of other people's time here when we have.
All right, and then last thing, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, going to meet with the Farm Bureau, talk about projects for next year and just general stuff and maintenance, just kind of a general update, I guess, to what's going on in the road department for projects and everything, so.
Do you need or want support?
Yeah, I don't know, that's fine, it's up to you, I guess.
8 o'clock across the way.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'll be here at 6. So that'll be over. I can go
Tonight.
over if you.
So I'm bringing Jaden too, so he can,
It's tonight?
no,
No.
it's Wednesday,
Our public hearings tomorrow?
so I'll have Jaden,
Oh,
he's coming
good.
too, so he can get introduced and
You're lost.
Yeah.
what,
Yeah,
okay,
you're good.
all right, that's all I have.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, public hearing. Okay. Next on our agenda, are there any visitors or citizens here with us today, either by Zoom or in person that would like to address the board? Hearing or seeing none. We have next Nancy Kilberg and Mr. Chuck Current, Macocata Green Space Redevelopment Commission. You want to come forward and introduce yourselves and
I'm not.
Morning. well,
You're not Chuck.
just for public reasons, for the public, if they're watching or going to watch, we'd like to have you introduce yourself.
I'm Nancy Kilburn.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good morning.
We're co-chairs on the funding committee for the green space renovation project. It's a committee that Ned's also been on the planning committee with us, and we're here today just to kind of make you aware of what's going on in the downtown area and talk about that.
Yeah, very much so. I think we've got good progress. The planning committee, as Min may have shared, has met and has decided on somewhat of a final design. The space will include a permanent stage, an amenities building with storage and restrooms. One of the things that we're excited about is it was just decided the last planning meeting, there will be a sensory park area. Nancy will do a better job of explaining that, but we're moving forward.
A sensory play area will be for 2 to 8 year olds. And it's a hands-on area where parents can come bring their children. And it will have touch, feel,
Mhm.
play kinds of things for them, developmental kinds of things. We don't have these things in our other parks. And so there won't be slides or jungle gyms. These will be freestanding, single panels, that sort of thing. So what we'd be looking at, I don't know if I can, kind of an area that might look like this. You know, so we know we're gonna have one, but it's a matter of what's gonna be in it. So, and it will be designated, off of a Pleasant to the back of the park area, with a seating wall for the parents whose children are in there playing.
The program, the budget that we have today, is about $1.3 million. Our major focus now is raising funds because we intend to apply for a CAT grant. That money was allocated by the legislature, and the last opportunity this year to apply for it is May. So we're working towards that. That CAT grant requires a 65% match, either in cash on hand or committed contributions. And we have made significant progress. We're about $428,000 in actual cash. We've got some in-kind things that will account. I think one of the reasons we want to be here today is just to communicate that this is going to happen. You know, the fire was in 2008. There's been tons of discussion since then and different plans, but now we know we have the momentum. We will go to the public around the middle of April and roll out a public fundraising. So we have concentrated on large groups and organizations to this point, just to communicate to the public that this is going to happen. But then we'll roll it out to the general public to allow everyone to participate in a number of different ways.
This was one of the top 3 goals in the 20 for 2040 vision plan of the city, that when they had public meetings that people requested to do something in that park. It's been utilized for many things since the fire, with no amenities. And so Macocata Betterment and Hometown Pride and other people felt it was time that we addressed that, and the city released it from commercial in 2022, and voila, we're here and on our way.
The city will continue to own the space, and the city will maintain it. Today, there is I don't know what it's not a permit, but it's an application where an entity who wants to use the green space has to register with City Hall. That will be the same process moving forward, and then they'll be responsible for taking care of restrooms and obviously there are restrooms there, but they do the mowing and those kind of things today. So, any questions that you have?
No, I guess when you said, when you first started, you stated you were somewhat in that phase. Now, I think I've seen designs and even naming rights, proposals and stuff like that. So we're a little further than somewhat into it.
Yeah,
I've seen the bathroom designs and I've seen the concession stand and all that, in an email, I think.
Well, yeah, we're working on designs and they're being tweaked right now by Origin. We're in what's called the silent phase, where
of fundraising.
of fundraising, where
Okay.
we're looking to people who want to make significant donations, like to name the park or to name the sensory area or to name the stage. We hope to roll it out in April,
Mhm.
with a website where people can, make contributions, can look at what's available in the park to have naming rights to. So yes, it's, we've begun, we're approving plans, we've got some significant donations as well as the park space, which was, estimated to be valued at 200,000, and that'll be part of our, 65%. The nice thing about that green space is it is a nice leveling, feel for people, town, city, rural, young, old, diversity, a lot of diversity. And so it's really kind of become, a community square. When we have different, series and, events similar to that, we've had a lot of people from the rural areas attend, as well. So, we wanted to let you know that it's out there. We would like to see the city, the county, join ranks with us and consider making a donation.
Well, we certainly appreciate, all the work everyone has put behind this, and, it's been there since, like you said, since the terrible fire. I really also believe that it's right there in the center, and it's a great asset to the community, and it was probably best used for the green space. I'd like to see it utilized and used or something, and obviously you need some bathroom facilities there, and the concession stand could do a little revenue if it would, and work out. Yeah, I like the whole idea. Just, we're working through our budget as we stand, and, we certainly will consider. Anybody have any questions for?
So I just kind of wanted to point out, maybe for people who don't know that may be watching our meeting today, that when you're talking about the green space, besides the sensory area, we're talking about like a permanent band shell stage, a permanent bathroom facility, men's, women's, handicap,
Yes.
maybe some men out front for dancing or other activities
Yeah.
out in front of the stage. But yet we're still looking at leaving a large green space
Mhm.
for other activities that can be performed there also. They've looked into, shade has been a big issue with that, so they got a company that has worked on that for planting trees eventually and things like that, just so people have kind of an idea of what we're talking about when we're saying the green space, that it isn't just, we're not just gonna leave it this empty lot.
No, I'm sorry, what you'll see is a lot of this occurs around the perimeter of it, so
Yes.
that the major part will be open with some picnic tables, and still can bring your chairs and sit down and that sort of thing. So, the stage will be on the north side, and the bathrooms will be on the east side, male, female, with more than one place to sit when you need to sit in there. We'll have a sidewalk, an additional sidewalk going around the perimeter and across probably. What the final specs are for that, we're waiting for Origin to get those back, but, and the dance area will be right in front of the stage, I believe about 15 foot out. It'll be concrete.
One quick comment I'll add in, which is a good point, is we're not developing a concert venue.
Right.
It's a community gathering
Right.
space. So to your point exactly, nothing that, and Nancy makes a good point around the perimeter, so nothing's going to limit the amount of green space, because we hold that once we put the amenities in, the bathrooms and such. I think through July of this year, there were 16 different events, about 7,000 people attended events in that green space. We're hoping as these amenities are put in, that will increase.
So what's going on there will continue to go on. We hope to build on that and have it being a nice drawing card for all of us in the county. DeWitt, in their shelter, they do outdoor theater, things like that. So we've done art in the park with nonprofits over there. We would hope that would continue, so families can rent it, maybe have a wedding there, or a family reunion.
Cascade has an outdoor band shell, and I think they even do outdoor fitness and things like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of different things.
We looked at that design as some hints for the stage design here.
And I think, it's important that was a very good point, and to realize anyone can rent it and it will be approved by the city who will monitor it. And, it's a multi-purpose venue, so.
Good.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
guys.
And next on our agenda is Mr. Nathan Jones, our Jackson County Conservation Director. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Would you like Todd here? He could come over. I don't think it needs. Are you available? I don't know. It's pretty simple. You guys have already approved a plan.
Right.
So the state just.
No, we were just talking about it. That's why I thought we could maybe just have him listen anyway.
Well, that'd be fine if he wants to.
I mean, we're talking about joining forces maybe somehow, and before we finalize our budget and such, if we're gonna have a.
Excuse me. I have got a horrible cough.
Hey, I've got some.
Been dealing with that for a while.
I've been since November. I'm.
Okay,
How's it going, Todd? Throwing you under the bus, I guess.
All right.
So, you're the one that caught it. I didn't know we didn't have our RVM stuff on file with the state, right? We had it approved, but we needed a resolution. So what this is a resolution showing that the county is gonna adopt the RVM management stuff. And I guess these guys, if they have questions, that's why they had you, as we are gonna be working together on IRVM stuff in the future with Jeannie and
Yay.
secondary roads, so.
okay, so
Were
I
you in
guess,
here when we were talking about, I was talking about it earlier?
Oh,
Okay,
no,
So,
so I'm gonna be emailing Jeannie here shortly,
okay,
cause they wanna look at options for, I don't know what you call it, more robust, weed control, basically, so anyway.
so yeah, I mean, we just talked about where do we start and where do we, can we do
What
hard
is
service
the-
roads? Can we pick the worst spots? Can we, like we do with our tree harvest or our tree clearing?
yeah, what's our capabilities as of now and where?
And what's it gonna cost us? And we're talking budget wise, in a year from now, we better include some.
Well, and I think it's gonna keep climbing. At least this will allow for seed for you guys and grant availability.
For equipment and stuff too, so you can, this'll, yeah, you can
This
get,
is a step forward in that direction for outside money, I guess, in my opinion. I thought we were there. And that was a drop ball on my part, I guess. I didn't realize we hadn't gotten the,
And
we needed a resolution along with this.
and I guess I didn't realize that what this was for a resolution, but now I do.
Yep, so it's just a resolution adopting pretty much the plan that you guys had already signed a year ago,
2023.
probably at some point, so.
So the motion needs to be to approve the resolution, so it can be filed with the state.
Yep, that way they can file it on there and we're on board with them to apply for stuff, and if he wants to ask for a free seed from the state, he can. Or vice versa, if he wants us to ask.
So moved.
I think,
get that.
Have a motion, a second to approve the resolution 1015-02-02-2024 as presented and have signatures as required.
Would be 0206.
Is that the right number, Lisa?
So it should be 1015-02-06-2024.
06.
Yeah.
different than mine.
That was on my paper, so then whatever. And
Right.
So, That's,
um,
I guess that was what covered that, so if you have questions, maybe.
So is there another piece of equipment that needs to be purchased that needs to be?
Well, as we develop.
well, let's
I think
have that
that's
guy
more
discuss.
Jeannie and secondary roads discussing
good
what,
talk.
what's the future and how far we can get this
And
program.
you,
Yeah, and me, I guess. What we can get done and what is feasible. I mean, we're not gonna be like going out and spraying at 30-mile-an-hour winds, so every summer is different, so we don't know. But we gotta try to plan for a goal and see what we can obtain,
we need to start. That's
Yep.
implement.
so.
So I have a motion and a second as approved change on resolution number. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. Motion carried. But you guys get together and
Yeah, I'm gonna email Jimmy and I'll copy him too and date and then. I'll get the one number and then, I don't know, we'll just have to come up with a rough estimate of like. What, and I don't even know, like, maybe she doesn't wanna become a full-time road sprayer too, I mean, we'll have to see.
well, yeah, and I don't know that we're talking full-time, I mean, you know, I
Figure
guess
out
that
what-
here,
Well,
let's,
it's gonna be a
we'll have
much
a,
bigger number of time.
It is gonna be a much bigger, but that was kind of the plan to try to get some of our roads in better shape.
Mhm.
That's where we kind of go.
All right.
Cool.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Nate. Perfect. Is he back at it yet?
He is back at it, so hopefully he's moving along. It looked like he was moving at a pretty good pace yesterday, so.
Well, he certainly has good weather.
Yeah, you can't complain about the weather.
It's a-
There's
And
no
it looks like
excuse on
14
that.
days, he should be done, but I,
Yeah,
Second Tuesday next week.
thanks, guys.
Do you need a copy of that?
Yeah, cause mine's got the wrong resolution number.
That's fine.
If once I get the signed one, I'll just save it.
Okay. All right, yep,
Thank you.
okay.
okay. So, Jeff, I'm not sure, I met him in the hall this morning, he had a couple projects on his list that he was tending to and rather important, so he's gonna try to drop in, so we will move forward with Lisa.
This morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the January 30th, 2024 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
Second.
Motion and second to approve January 30th, 2020 board proceedings as written by Smith and authorized publication of newspapers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed? Motion carried.
I need a motion to accept, place on file, and authorize the chair and auditor signature on the county recorder's report of fees collected for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $39,237.46.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the chair and the auditor's signature on the county reporter's report for fees collected for January of 24 in the amount of $39,237.46. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Need a motion to approve the renewal of a special class C retail alcohol license with living quarters and outdoor service to Preston Valley Golf at 42998 45th Street, Preston, effective February 14th, 2024 through February 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the retail alcohol license. Special class permit as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve invoices for $16,093.46 to Midwest Construction Consultants, $86,210.54 to Bill Bruce Builders, $28,025 to Kraus Plumbing and Heating, $32,718 to Geisler Brothers, $20,900 to Rock River Electric, Inc., $2,850 to Midwest Fire Sprinkler, $560 to Tri-State Porta Potty, Inc., $28,378.50 to Girardi Welding and Fabrication, Inc., $16,754.96 to SCI Communications, Inc., which was previously approved on 1/16/2024, and $1,159.15 to AT Disposal for a total of $233,649.61, and authorizing their signature on the project cost recap for the Law Enforcement Center for the month ending January 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the invoices as presented for a total of $233,649.61 for the Law Enforcement Center. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve invoices for $8,143.99 to Midwest Construction Consultants, Inc., $962.50 to Chosen Valley Testing, Inc., $36,879 to Peak Construction, $9,975 to Stickley Electric, $351.50 to Midwest Auto Fire Sprinkler, $280 to Tri-State Porta Potty, Inc., $151.89 to Macocota Municipal Electric Utility, $41.88 to Black Hills Energy, $3,432.30 to Amber Matison, $20,520.37 to Rapids Food Service Contract and Design, and $375 to AT Disposal for a total cost of $81,113.43. And authorize the chair signature on the project cost recap for the Jackson County Fair and ISU Extension, the 4-H Outreach Building for the month ending January 31st, 2024.
Can I, the 34, 32, 30 to Amber, do we remember, do we know what that was for? or-
I know that there were some tables and some coffee pots and
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the invoices as presented in a total of $81,113.43. And have the chair's signature for the Jackson County Fair and ISU Extension 4-H Outreach Center as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
what I have for the board today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I see we've been joined by Mr. Jeff Kilberg, our Jackson County Facilities Manager. Would you like to come forward?
Morning, everyone.
What's morning? You made the Skype for that?
Grease up my zipper. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the LED lighting we kind of talked about in the past or whatever. So if we were gonna do a room this size with the flat panels, all the parts it would take, it would be roughly about $1,160 to do this room. If we were gonna do the hallways, it requires a surface mount kit plus the flat panels. And to do all the hallways, it'd be about $2,772 for the hallway lights, and that'd be a couple.
$2,772.
$2,700.
Okay, so that was a little longer stretch. I was wondering if you were adding any zeros there.
I would assume that's just.
Is that the main hallways here on the first floor?
All the main hallways, and then I was figuring a few like up where the officer sits, try to get rid of
But
those.
not basement.
Nothing in the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
Main floor.
Yeah, I mean, we could do the engineer's office, I think, with that type of a kit, it's about $154 per light. And I think we could do the engineer's office. These ceilings that have the drop ceiling, it's a little bit cheaper because we don't have to have that surface mount kit. The hallways would require that surface mount kit. So roughly in the hallways, it's about $154 per light. And the offices about 116. If you wanted to make the offices dimmable, so for instance, this room has 2 switches. It's about $128 per switch. So it'd be about $256 if you wanted to make this room completely dimmable.
Is that like if there's no activity, they shut off?
No, that
No,
would just be if
That
you wanted
just
lower
means
lighting.
Lower lighting?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know what there would be advantage to that in like this room. I would say they're either on or off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's
if you-
not like a house or something where you might want to dim.
Yeah.
I do like the ideas of the auto shut off in the basement, if you will.
I got that coming
Okay,
up here.
all right.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. So, we have one office where half the lights are out of it now. It doesn't look that great. So that would be where I would suggest maybe a dimmable switch in that type of. area
Okay,
or whatever.
yeah. So did you give us a number for the engineer office?
I did not.
Okay,
It's just,
okay.
I never really
Yeah.
figured, I hadn't figured this room for size, and they would have to. size that.
My question is, knowing that I've put in some LED in my office, that I took out 9 of the incandescent bulb fixtures and I put in 3 of the LED.
Yeah.
Will we need to replace every one of these and that?
He figured 10 for this room, so I mean, it'd be a little bit less. I mean, these are only 2 by 2, so maybe that might be a little bit on the bright side, That's what the guy from Crescent Electric figured,
Okay.
10 2x4s, you know, for the size of the room, the height of the ceiling and stuff like that.
So let me say this then, if that's the case and we need to wear sunglasses in here, we can still add the dimmers, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would make it so that you could add the dimmer.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing of it is, you know, if you say, well, this is too bright, well, in a room like this, you just move them to a different spot, you know, and maybe remove one or two or something like that, you know, so that'd be, you know, if it's a room that you're definitely not
I
going
was,
to
you
dim.
know, like, I don't know if we're starting in here as a test room or we do the engineers as a test room. I mean, when you're talking an extra, I mean, these prices are coming in significantly less than I thought they would be. So to add $100 dimmer switch isn't like a big deal, so I would say, let's do it. And see how it goes in the test room, and then from there, we can decide whether we want it to move forward or not. Maybe the secondary roads will come in and say, hey, I like the dimmer switch, or I have no need for that whatsoever, I don't want it, but,
Yeah.
you know.
I can't,
Always-
yeah, I can't see that you're gonna save a lot of energy with a dimmer though, right? I mean,
No,
this is,
no.
yeah.
It's more
It
for-
is,
Yeah.
just the lights are gonna save the energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the lights are switchable, so I think you can go from like 2,000 lumens to 5,000 lumens, so you can control some of it that way too, rather than being on a dimmer switch that, you know, takes it down slowly.
Yeah, and if they're basically the same price, again, I like the idea of going the brighter and then have the dimmer, so you have the capability of backing off without changing anything.
Each light is 5,000 lumens, is it?
I think it can go that high, maybe it's 4,000.
I put some LEDs outside my shop, on the outside of my building, I think they were like 4,000 lumens. And
Yeah,
Yeah, I think one of my shop too are-
you put 10 5,000 lumen lights in here and we're gonna have
We're gonna
airplanes
get
trying to land.
I agree, I mean,
I think 10 is excessive in here.
Well, I think, I may think you'd be surprised, 2,000 lumens might be.
yeah. I mean, I don't think you
If you
can cut a
cut out
2,000
the middle
lumen
ones.
2x4 fixture, I mean, it has
Like
to.
2x2.
Maybe, the only thing, they're more expensive, you know.
Whatever you find is best, but if we're gonna do 5,000, then we definitely put that respect.
No, yeah, and here's the thing too, I mean, if you put it in a test room and, oh, this is way too bright, well, then we'll take a few hours.
Honestly, people complain about my head today, you put. That's where we're at.
Well, then you got different things. Obviously, we don't need it maybe quite as bright as what they might reading maps and blueprints and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they might want the 5,000 where maybe we only need the 2,000.
Or whatever's most cost
Okay,
effective and.
so let's, finish your report there and then we'll.
Okay, so then to talk about, say, the basement with the motion sensors, it would be about $360 per switch. That's the switch, there's that, oh, can't think of the name of it there. And then there's a couple sensors that mount on the ceiling.
How many are we talking?
There's two light switches down there, which I'm not sure that back one would need to be on that, you know, that goes back to the extension office. And, you know, once extension moves out, we might be able to just turn them off and only turn them on when we need to, but if, you know.
Something we can always add again without changing much price here.
Yeah.
Just a switch, all right?
Yep, it's a switch and a couple sensors and an armature.
Yeah.
Armature that goes with it. So that's about $360.
Mhm.
I mean, makes sense probably down there to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have about lighting. Talk a little bit about care facility. So according to Jared, there's a circular pump out there that's not working. He said when you turn it on, it leaks like crazy. I think they got a price from Service One for like $1,000 and they never came to put it in. I think later, once we get finished with some of this blind project, you know, maybe later this week, early next week, I'm gonna go out and take the pump off, bring it back here, rebuild it, take it back out, so we have that backup pump, you know. Cause right now we're just running with one pump. If that would stop working, you know, we'd have some problems, so. That's one thing I'm probably gonna work on out there.
Okay, with that being said, Jeff, is that something, when you said Service One was gonna fix it, are they gonna put a rebuilt pump on or put a pump on? And then we've been out there before and there's one sitting here or sitting there that should have been done, put on and come back and had rebuilt. And then we'd have that spare. We could just swap it out.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, if we have that, that's what I would like to have, you know, I'd like to have a spare one on hand, so when. Although, when you have two of them, I mean, you do have a fair amount of flexibility, you know, where you can take one off and.
Williams are still operating, yeah,
Yeah.
God forbid if they go down, and then
Yeah.
how soon could you get a pump? Is that something you could get or have or put on, or,
I
yeah,
think we can get them pretty readily. you
Okay.
know.
so it's a matter of driving to Davenport, picking one up?
Yeah, or Duke, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, that's one thing I'm gonna do out there. We have some other things that we'll probably have to talk about with Jared about a few things or whatever, you know, I don't know, there's a floor scrubber out there that's not being used. I think it just needs new batteries, and I don't know if that's our responsibility or their responsibility. He claims it's our floor scrubber. But
Well, again, if there's a question about what's in the contract, how it's written, we'd have to either talk to the county attorney and decide who's, I don't think the floor cover's mentioned in our contract.
How old is
So-
it?
Well, that,
I would guess it's probably 10, 15 years old, I'm guessing, at least that old, maybe.
I guess we could try and find out if we paid for it. I wonder who they bought it from. Any idea?
you know,
Don't
my,
know.
my original thought is that's part of their maintenance to maintain it, but I guess, and we just bought new floor though, but I don't want that new floor not maintained.
Right.
So that's the thing, you know, I mean, it's not being used. I don't know how long it's been since it's been used, but that would be something very simple for them to fire up and run down the hallways, clean the hallways, you know. And so I think in my
Did they
mind.
install the new floor?
Either way, it needs to,
It's
huh?
Did
something
they
that needs to
install the
be-
new floor in the hall?
You know, I don't know that I ever heard a report that it was done. I mean, we approved it.
Mhm.
No, but
Installed, is that?
Yeah,
I mean, it hadn't been whatever,
It was what,
3 weeks ago when we were out there.
well, then it probably has not. Who got that contract? I don't remember.
Schneider, I think.
Schneider.
Schneider?
That'd been a while ago. We approved like last spring.
They just-
That was, they put it in.
We were, I just recommend that they do it.
I mean, I can give him a call and find out where he's at on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
check with
follow up with it, yeah.
Schneider Flooring out of
Okay,
Goose Lake.
That's really all I have about the care facility. The other thing I was gonna say is weather permitting, I think we're gonna get started on this railing back here. I'm gonna get some steel and some holes drilled in it. I might have Denny help do some welding on it in the mornings, you know, I might kind of fill in for him and he can go do some welding, and he's a good welder and he'll probably get it done a lot faster, so.
Do what you need to do. Your department.
Then we will try and get that taken care of once.
Okay. You got some more?
Nope.
Okay, so just a suggestion with my counterparts here. So, being it's not on the agenda, I don't believe we can approve it, what you mentioned, but I would like to have it on the agenda soon to do the hallway in this office and do the motion sensor with the dimmers. Here with the dimmers, hallway with the dimmers, and the motion sensor downstairs, one motion sensor.
I don't think you need.
You don't want dimmers in the hallway, do
You
you?
know? That's just maintenance?
It's
Part
maintenance.
of his maintenance.
I don't,
Perfect.
I
would,
think it
you
should
know,
be
I don't know what
direction.
you guys think, but I would
Go for it.
move
Yeah.
I
forward.
was
with-
expecting it to be a lot more, so.
I
I would
was,
move
yeah.
forward with that and then, yeah, try to firm up a.
yeah,
transfer
I
over
would go
here.
there next probably, yeah.
Well,
Or you guys coordinate.
I think the
whatever you
pricing's
think's
gonna
most-
be, you put 10 lights, I'm sorry, you put,
I really don't think.
I think you might get away with 8.
well, that's.
There,
mean, I was
there,
kinda thinking
there,
that
you know.
Yeah.
I think 8, if they're 5,000 lumens, that's gonna be bright.
They're gonna,
I'll start with that.
What size are they?
I'll start with it. If we need to add one, you know, it's just a matter of.
Well, like I say, you can get these 2x2 squares and then
Yeah.
In my building, I have 40.
so. Yeah, I'm saying go for it. I would say put the dimmer switch in here and we can see how it goes, and from there, we'll know what we need to do over there, and
Okay,
then they can take a look in the hallways, go for it.
okay.
how hard if you did like, okay, for example, 5. And we're like, oh, it's not bright enough.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. You know, when Donna suggested 8, that's what I said. I'll put 8 in. If we need to put more in or take most of them out, it's not a big deal.
That's not a big,
No.
yeah. 'cause
So you could space them accordingly.
So I'd probably put 2 there, maybe 2 here, you know, put 8 of them. See how.
we did.
With the dimmer switch.
Well, obviously you need something above
Luann.
back there, and you need something in the center here.
Well, that's if you
bang,
did,
bang.
I'm thinking
Like I said,
5.
If you just look here, you got these 2, you got those 2, that would be over you guys, and then just do Sure, I think it'd be pretty easy. The other lights come out, you put in a 2x2 square and you.
Yeah.
Almost don't even know they're
You
there.
decide. Okay.
And,
I'll
at
start.
some point from there, we see how this goes, and we've gotta look at the offices that are gonna need a drop
And I
ceiling.
guess,
Or if those hallway ones work, can we just get away with those in those other offices, or?
I don't think so, because there's only one wire that comes down in that, whatever it is, probably 16 foot long span. So, and you can't put these together. You can put two together, so you can slide a flat panel in this way, flat panel that way. But, you know, if you put three together, then you have to take this fixture down to get to that middle one or whatever. So it wouldn't work. I mean, could you do it? Yeah, but wouldn't make a lot of sense, because you'd have to take a fixture down to replace a flat panel in one of the middle ones.
Okay.
So.
so Lisa, if you, as far as other department heads here, want to decide where we go next, or what's most important, or where we go. I mean, we can walk the halls too and decide
I
which.
mean, obviously, we're an office that would need a drop ceiling, so ours is,
Is there any other offices that already have a drop ceiling?
Assessor. I think those are the only two.
I mean, if we're gonna do this, we could look and get second, you do this as a test, then we go to secondary roads, then we go to assessors. And then we start looking at the harder ones. Would a drop ceiling be something you and Bobby could handle, or would you prefer to have that contracted out, that you come through with the lights
I
later?
mean, that's gonna take some time. I mean, we could do it, but it might really, hold up office activity.
As odd as it seems, I was talking to a gentleman like 2 nights ago, and he was talking about this, and I don't know why it come up, but anyway, talking about it, and he had a couple different bids done for what he was going to do. And he said he could not go to the lumberyard and buy the material for what this grid place comes in and puts it up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in and out of there in 2 hours, if you will.
I mean, we used to have Dubuque Acoustical do a lot of this work, and I know that way they do a lot of it. But they want the area cleared out too, they don't want to have to work around anything, so.
and that's not gonna happen, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean by cleared out, desk chairs and everything, or just people?
Everything, I mean, they want it
Yeah.
wide open, I mean, for the most part, I mean.
Well,
you
we
can
can't
have-
do that in some of
It'll
these
mostly
offices.
have to be done after hours or something, or on
Yeah.
the weekend, just because.
Yeah.
We'll be working around people, because,
and us having it being an election year, we would be very specific when,
Yeah,
Well, this is all work in progress, so let's get it started, see what happens, how we like it, and
okay,
make a plan.
But I'm
Yeah.
very encouraged by what you
Yeah,
presented. so.
I am too, I was surprised. I thought we had different numbers than that once before.
Because technically, you think if we could do the hallway and these three offices on this side. And that's a good 40% of the first floor. And we would be able to at least notice if there's a change on the utilities,
I would hope so.
I mean, what he told me is a normal fixture draws about 45 watts, these flat panels would draw about 28 watts, so I don't know what that percentage works out to, but I mean, it's probably 30% or whatever.
42%.
Yeah,
Cool,
so,
exciting.
And if we don't put as many lights in, you're gonna drop it even
yeah,
more.
that's true.
Right. Well, this has got 14, and if we start with 8 and it works, you're cutting them almost in half,
Yeah,
so.
All right,
all right,
Cool.
cool, thank you.
Awesome, thank
Your
you.
outside lights, I think
They're still on?
they were yesterday,
Oh, were they?
yeah. So just take a second look, I wonder if the timer is bad.
I adjusted the time on it the
Okay.
other day, so
Okay,
I'll keep
all right.
messing with it.
Jeff,
All right, thanks.
or, do we have, Jeff,
Oh,
do we have our flag that has that?
Yes,
Thank you.
Bill Northey, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Luann, are you willing to yield to Mr. Hanson?
Absolutely.
All right, so next on our agenda, we have Mr. John Hanson and Jeremy Oden from Miss West Construction Consultants. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, guys.
Nice to hear all good news.
We got some good news.
I said that quietly.
Got a lot of people out there, I can tell you that, so that's good, yeah, full crews. They're hanging sheetrock in the mezzanines, they're gonna finish them up by the end of today. And we've got a lot of epoxy flooring going down and everything, so. I'll try and get the mezzanines epoxied and get the stairs in hopefully next week. And that way we can get the bunks up there and start finishing off those areas. The areas that have got the epoxy and the showers and, special status showers, some of those areas are setting toilets and fixtures in those areas, plumbers are, so getting some finishes. Midwest Storage Solution, they're on site, they came yesterday, so they're putting in all the rolling storage and everything. I unloaded a semi for them yesterday, and, so in the evidence room and, laundry and record storage and everything. So they'll be here all week, they'll wrap that up by the end of the week. Getting ready to hang the hard lids in the corridors next week, so electricians got all their control wires in for all the RTUs and everything, so we're gonna button all that up. And it's coming together. I mean, there's still a lot going on, you know, but we've got a lot of paint on the walls. A lot of areas are primed and first coat, and then, you know, everybody will put all their stuff in, and then the painters will come back with top coat. You know, they don't want to top coat and then get it all marred up and everything, so a lot of that. So what else?
Jeremy said you about $2,900.
Oh.
Put some blocking up there. You want $3,900.
So the mezzanines, since the sheriff and everybody voted to go all the way to the ceiling with the screens on the upper mezzanine, which we don't normally do, we determined that we probably needed some blocking in there to bolt that to make that really secure, because those screens and those frames are extremely heavy. Well, Bruce Builders wanted $3,800 to put the blocking in there, so I went and I did it for $175 worth of lumber and two days of my time, so, you know.
We appreciate it.
I mean, my contribution there, so I just couldn't in good faith pay $3,800. I'm like, seriously, it was some 2x6s in a couple days, just cutting them and screwing them up there, so. We're gonna have enough of a time getting those heavy stairs and stuff up there. I wanna take everything out of the equation that we could. First, we thought maybe we could just screw off to the studs, to the metal studs, but I got to throwing a tape measure around. I mean, maybe, you know, some of them been hit, some of them wouldn't, and I was like, you know, we'll just put some blocking in, so.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah, Jordy saves us a bunch of money when, you know, having them do all the stairs and stuff. We saved a ton of money doing that.
so we've got half of those, and the other half are in powder coating right now. And he told me 2 weeks, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So I think I'm about ready to get those. And now the snow's melting, and you know, so those other ones have been out in the parking lot under a pile of snow all winter, you know, so things are looking up that way, so.
With that being said, I just, cause when you said that it's all melting here, so when they put the solar units in array, did they damage some of the seating and stuff?
A
that we need
little
to go
bit.
Scratch it around a little bit?
A
Are we gonna be
little,
good?
Mike, not horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few places gonna need. a
Something
little
we can
fixing.
scratch around, or we need to have somebody come back? or-
I think probably scratch around.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
where they trenched the wire, well, they trenched it under the parking lot, and where they can't, I don't know why they didn't just get, well, I do too, because there was bedrock. So they come up where they had to come up, and then they had to trench that over, so they scarred that up, and then a couple of contractors, idiots, dropped their front tires off into the mud, stuff like that, you know, it's nothing
could have
too
been a
crazy.
snowplow guy too or something.
Yeah, we've had several, so.
So that was an inside joke, but anyway, also, so underneath this array, do we have a plan? I mean, we're certainly not gonna try to mow underneath there, right?
No, I don't have a plan really, Mike. I mean, I don't know what.
Do we need to landscape around that somehow?
I-
Or rock it so we can
I would,
spray
if
it?
it were me, I would probably put rock under there.
Yep.
I would probably put some
River rock.
river rock, or even maybe some
Decorative.
smaller riprap or something.
Need a decorative thing, so do
Something.
we need to edge that hole around that thing, I think would make a better.
I'd say take a closer look at it later this spring when it, you know,
Yeah.
things kind of straighten up. a
Well,
little
yeah, I
bit.
don't wanna get the
Figure what
weeds that
kind of
tall
runoff.
before I look at it, that's my, huh?
Let's get a big rain and see what it does.
Did they have anything in their bid when they installed that?
I don't think we had any landscaping as far.
I didn't know if they had something in there or a recommendation maybe of what they typically use under it that works good. or-
I do agree with you though, Mike. You're not gonna wanna mow under that thing.
No, I mean,
You
somebody's gonna have
you
a
won't be
headache.
able to.
Weedy Roundup.
Yeah.
Well, if we lay, you know, if we control an area. And then lay some material down.
Well, and the thing is too, that's kind of, not kinda, it is our waterway under
Sure,
there, so
sure,
I'm thinking some rock in
Yeah.
there might prevent
Yeah.
some erosion and stuff too anyway, so.
We'll figure it out later.
yeah,
Mhm.
I just don't want. I mean, we got 60-degree weather now, I don't want the weeds this tall before we decide what we're gonna do.
Right.
I guess we could get some prices or some ideas put together.
Well, I mean, that's probably not your baby either to worry about, I just didn't know.
John, what was his name? The landscape, the guy that I had seeded.
Check,
Again with the
check.
John.
Shekel, yeah.
Yeah, I could talk to John and see if he, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know that he's into landscaping either, I mean, he's more erosion control, but, you know, we just kick around some ideas.
I would talk to the two guys that are gonna mow and see what they
Yeah,
say.
you know, maybe our
There you
own
go.
maintenance guys, you know.
It's
They
just
could
like-
probably lay down a few pavers and
Right.
throw a truckload of river rock under there.
Yeah, I would rock it if it were mine.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I think you're gonna have it's gonna wash out if you don't, you know.
We obviously need some material underneath there to control vegetation and
Yeah.
probably still spray it, you know, if that's the
Right.
case.
Do we have an I know there was talk about trying to get the occupancy rating for the administrative side. Have we got any word whether that's possible to get it early?
John's telling me that it's not likely to get actual occupancy, but that we probably,
We
Yeah,
start
move-
moving
moving stuff
furniture
in.
and getting set up. The way they look at it is I just got done getting occupancy in one and the fire marshals are saying they want the full system.
Right.
Sprinkler and all
operational.
that.
Yep.
And that would be hard to do with just the admin and stuff
Mhm.
and.
separate it.
You know, I think there's gonna be a substantial amount of work that has to be done, you know, sorting stuff out of the storage and stuff that we get set up in there and ready to go so that they were ready, somewhat ready to go operationally.
Do we have any idea when they could start looking at moving some stuff in or?
I
So
would
is
say-
there room in the warehouse that we can set things up and kind of put back together? As I heard, there was that storage facility is rather congested, as they.
It's getting less congested, but I'm about to get it more congested. Let me put it that way, because I'm about ready to pull the trigger on getting all the bunks. Because I want to get the floors done in the upper mezzanine. And then I want to get all the bunks up there before we put the fencing up. And that's gonna happen here probably pretty soon, so. Not really any.
So what about like the Sallyport? I mean, that's a large enough area that we could move stuff in there and, no, you keep denying me access.
I'm sorry, Mike, but no. It's.
No, we're
it
just
needs
looking to
be
see when
done,
we
but-
can
Yeah.
start moving some stuff in so we can kind of get some of the stuff.
I would
out of there.
anticipate March, you know, I wanna make sure we get a punch list done.
Okay.
Walk through, you know, you guys are wanting
Get
to
the
done
final
that.
coat of paint on it.
Yeah, get the final coat of paint on it and then go through, make sure we're picking up any items that need corrective action and stuff. That way, when we move in, we know we got it. Plus, if the painters are still there,
Right.
when we start moving that furniture in, if we nick something, we can always tell a painter. And they can at least be there to kind of touch it up for us, you know.
Look,
It's a process that we gotta go through to get that done. And I'm sure they're gonna wanna get they're gonna have to get IT to get the owner or somebody over to get computers in. There's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
man, we surely don't need to rush things now.
well, the guys are, let me add this, Mike, they're putting the cabinets in right now, so all that pile is dwindling. And then when I get these bunks in here, I've been holding off on taking the bunks as long as I can until I'm really ready for them. So once we get them, about half of them will go up right away. So, I mean, it could be where, you know, here by first of March or something like that, I could have some room out there in that shed.
Half a building or
Yeah,
a quarter or
yeah.
something. And we can kind of get some stuff moved out
Well,
and maybe
you know,
look and see
sometime-
what we actually have.
Well, I've been contacted by Together We Build people. How do they get their stuff out of the Peace Pipe players?
They don't have-
What is considered their stuff?
Well, they received some stuff from the hospital.
Do they have a list of that?
That's-
I'm not aware of that, by the way.
There's
They were there
a,
helping move that day.
I don't know that. I
I thought
wasn't
they
there.
went, I was told they went through and we put marks on stuff we wanted, they put stickers on stuff they wanted.
The question is, are all the stickers still on it? Cause I think they basically posted noted stuff.
I haven't heard.
2 years
we
ago.
met with them last night and they didn't say anything about moving anything out of there.
But they might want more of the kitchen stuff, again, I don't know, like I said,
Yeah, they,
some pans and
We didn't take any, you weren't allowed to take some. of
That's, yeah, that stuff
Yeah.
we didn't get.
all, there's racks with cookie sheets
Yeah, we
and all
seen
that
that
kind of stuff
that day.
over it, I mean, big, where they can put like several trays of food and all that, it's in the piece by
There's the rolling racks.
yeah,
Oh.
with the great
I'm
big
just,
piece,
they were
half
just wanting to
cookie
know how
sheet.
they can get it out, and I said, right now, you can't take anything now. I mean, so that's, I said, work with the board. I'm out of this, I don't have anything to do with it, but I
I'll
just
tell them
said,
that, it's like,
Well, it's like.
Well, we'll
we
work with
found the
somebody here, we'll
furniture-
figure-
We found the furniture for the squad room when you and I and Jeremy were over there. That we're gonna use, so I mean, we can, you know, start taking, you know, we'll probably
Yeah.
move stuff around
operators and the
occasionally.
little cubby desks.
Yeah. so-
Paul, my general contractor too, brought a lead to me that he has on some supposedly like a semi-load of really nice office chairs. I mean, like like high dollar office chairs. Some woman down in Davenport. And apparently she doesn't want a whole lot for them. And I think him, if not me and him, might go look at them on Thursday.
Sure.
So, you know,
Well, we sure you appreciate
Yeah.
that also.
I mean,
you know, if you could get some nice chairs for $100 a piece,
Yeah.
or, you know what I mean? Some of them Han chairs are like $1,000 chairs, you know, so. See what she got, I don't know.
Sure.
It might be a bunch of junk for all I know, but. So,
Cool.
And while we're on the subject of the jail, I did, I got the pricing back for, we just got a list of kitchen equipment. I think we went over that list originally. Kitchen equipment. And I got some prices back, but I didn't want to pull the trigger on it until I talked to you. And I haven't had a chance to talk to the sheriff yet. So basically, what we were looking at was a 3-compartment sink. Shelving unit that would go over that for chemicals, dishwasher. I looked at ventless type dishwasher. We got rid of the range and went to a convection oven, which eliminated that $90,000 makeup area unit. So we don't have to have that in the kitchen. So we looked at a convection oven, microwave oven, stainless steel table, induction range. It's just an induction plate for the
Hot plate.
countertop. And a conveyor toaster to do toast in the morning. One reach-in double door refrigerator and double door freezer. Pan rack. Universal pan rack, which we can go over and check. I got some pricing on some shelving, wire shelving and some solid shelving. It came to 60,000, 747.56, but I wanna talk to the sheriff about the dishwasher. I'm checking in, that was $25,000. I think that's larger than what we need. But we need something commercial, so I guess just to the board, I'm just saying. That, you know, I'd like to approve cost not to exceed. I think we have some shelving units and stuff. That we can get this cost down some. I also checked into Dubuque, they had a place that refurbished it. Started doing some price checking against it, but the refurbished was in hundreds of dollars. Of what the Rapids Wholesale was. And I figured, do we really want to start off with a unit that's been refurbished? I don't know, long-term jail,
No,
not for a couple $100.
no, and as far as the dishwasher goes too, I mean, make sure we're sized good enough that we're not gonna have issues, you know.
Yes,
If we so come close to hopefully filling the place with potential revenue
Mhm.
source.
Was that 2 convection ovens?
It was
it is
a double
it is
stack.
a double,
Double stack,
yeah,
and how many commercial microwaves?
just one right now. They have one over there that they can use for minor stuff, so. Trying to keep the costs down and go through it, but yet get them what they need. For their menu, so I guess. We bought out the commercial washer dryer, that's already bought out, we bought out everything, I believe. The kitchen equipment is the last item that we really need to buy out. So I guess I'd like approval. To, I meet with the sheriff and them today. To. Purchase equipment not to exceed 61,000.
I guess one of my questions, and I've mentioned it before, have we checked locally that none of our local people,
We did that with the fairgrounds to try to check it with local people and, local people. I mean, we gotta buy some refrigerators and freezers for, like the.
Conference room.
Conference room.
I mean, and I understand
And
that
then
they
we
handle,
will.
they handle that, but is it an option that they could order in the
I don't
commercial
really think they
size?
dealt a lot in commercial stuff, man.
I mean, I just, if we can support local, I would like
Yeah,
to
mhm.
support
Yeah.
local. I guess I would like the question to be asked to them if they could
Yeah,
do commercial
when we-
size.
and we did check with some of the locals, one of the
Appliance
appliances.
solutions.
We already bought the appliances for the fairgrounds. So we bought some of the stuff locally. But the other stuff, you know, like the 3 base sinks. and stuff,
Commercial.
They didn't have access to that type of equipment.
Well, I just want to, like I said, I just want to make sure that we're
Oh, yeah.
reaching out local.
Yep, oh, that, we try to do that on every occasion, just like we did with Schneckle and some of them.
Well, that's a pretty good report. I like the progress. Again, if we can find some space or, you know, see how things work, come along there and,
I'll keep you posted on
yeah,
mine.
and we'll talk, actually talk.
Some
to
of this
Nate.
other stuff put in the building and.
Because we are gonna run into the issue of if the other building's gonna open sooner. If they have stuff there that is earmarked for them or that they're. Could use and we're not using,
I think that we,
so.
you know, in representing the board of supervisors. That we would be in there making sure, you know, what stuff we need.
Like I say, I would like to, if we're gonna take stuff out of piece by players, we're divvying up as it comes out, this is going here.
Right,
Whatever, but,
Mhm.
I know I've told it together, we build it, right now, we get first dibs. You know, that's kind of the way it was, and they're like, you know, so.
They've already bought some, you know, they need specific chairs and stuff or specific. Tables for certain areas and stuff, and they bought them out, so. They didn't say anything during the meeting last night about.
I do
Yeah.
know, because I was up there that day that we went around and I do know they did earmark
Yeah,
some
They've
desk
got a
and,
shipment of tables coming, new tables today.
Right.
5 of them. They're
but I think they
plastic
did
fold-out
some
tables.
desk and some chairs and trash cans and.
Together we build as far as getting ready to occupancy and all that.
pushing, got guys down there from Peak today scrubbing floors. John Schneider is, the flooring guy is supposed to start tomorrow, and I'm gonna put him back there in the ISU side, and work his way out. So the Peak guys, they're gonna, we've got, where the epoxy got finished in the bathroom and everything, right above it on the paint got messed up and everything, so we got drywallers down there fixing that today, probably today and tomorrow, repainting that, and then that'll allow the guys to get the toilet partitions in. I've got plumbers coming next week. They've actually got a appointment with Midwest Fire Alarm to come Thursday. I'm trying to make a decision whether to let that happen, because that would be occupancy in the building minus the kitchen. But to get the kitchen, we got a little bit more wiring to do in the Ansel system, a little bit more plumbing piping to do in the Ansel system. Get that guy out there, get that tested, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of up in the air whether to make a run at the whole thing or try and be done before the 26th of February with the building minus the kitchen, because they have an event on the 26th and the 28th, and they're pushing me hard on that, and that's fine, because I told them that we could make this, you know. So I wanted to get the plumbers out there this week. They weren't available this week. They're gonna be there next week. So, you know, we're down the wire, but
We're trying to get the
I'm not letting it slide.
occupancy inspection pushed back to 19.
Do the best you can.
Get the 19th and then get occupancy. The kitchen equipment should be coming in for that particular project.
Friday.
So, that will allow them to get set up in the kitchen
Well, the
too.
sheriff is behind you. He knows you guys wanna talk. So you guys get together and
Yeah,
kind of work that out. I don't know if we can kind of give a blessing on it, kind of tentative, but,
but I guess
No, I
if
think
you,
you
if you
guys
don't have
work it
any
out.
guidance,
work it out and go and we'll.
You're gonna use the end user, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you
It
guys,
needs to be done.
you've been there and he's been there and yeah, figure it out.
yeah, there's too much or too little, and I think that what we have here is, you know, in the middle there, so
Okay.
that will work.
Gonna be work in progress, so
Yep,
we'll plan for other needs as we go, I suppose.
okay.
Appreciate it, guys.
So I guess, did you already go over pay
Yep.
request, so you just need sign a couple?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're in the budget process, my question is are all of the expenses for the jail, law enforcement center, gonna be done before July 1st?
All the expenses,
Oh, yeah.
it depends on how quick the contractors take care of the punch list. You do realize once you pay them the money, it's harder to get them back.
Well, I don't have, so that's the question for budgeting. We took all of those expenses out of
Yeah.
next year's budget.
Mm,
So the question is do we need to?
I would hope that it would be done in July, yes.
Done before July 1st or after July?
Is there a range where, I know, and granted, this is not apples to apples, but when we did like Main Street or Platt Street, the punch list, there was like, we had 2 years to get the punch list fixed after
They
the.
won't have that long.
What is do they have 3 months? Do they have a month?
30 days.
You know,
Okay.
we got
So
get
if we
us,
release it if we're in there by the end of occupancy is the end of March, we should by May 15th or so.
yeah, you're billing April and May,
Yeah.
and then, you know, say they're doing punch lists during April. We we want all their final waivers and everything in.
Yeah.
So you'd probably be billing in June. I could see where
So we need to put money in next year's budget.
you could possibly have a small payment in July. I mean, you could release the money, you're still holding the bond. The bond is still protecting the
Right.
money, but I would hope that we'd be pretty well cleaned up by the June 1st payment. Or
Which will be paid in July. So can I make an estimate of 10%, 5%? That I need to put in next
let me
year's
take a
budget?
look at
Okay.
it, baby, before I leave today.
Yeah, let's talk about that
I'll
because,
stop over.
yeah, you can visit with Shelley if I'm not there, but I think because we took it all out. And what I'm hearing is we may need to put a certain percentage back.
Well, don't you just make an amendment to the budget if there's still money
Well-
left in there to pay?
We'd rather have it in there though, ahead of
Okay,
versus doing an amendment.
It's not like, yeah, I mean, if we don't have it in this year's, we'll put it in next year's, and if they have to wait a month, so be it, I
Well,
guess.
If you amend the budget, they'd have to wait for their money.
a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
At least. It would
Oh,
be.
we've been waiting for the bill.
Well, if they're that long getting done,
You know, doggone.
if they're that long getting done, they can wait.
yeah.
Sometimes you gotta set stakes, make sure they're still moving out there some days,
Well, shadows.
yeah,
Yeah, false.
yeah, wow. And.
Thank you very much for the update.
Yep,
Any other questions? You guys have any questions for?
What are you gonna do with the kitchen equipment? Are you?
We're gonna talk to Brent about it, you guys
So you're not
decide.
gonna make a motion to approve him up to X amount of dollars?
No. No, you guys
They-
talk
they
about
just
that.
Necessary equipment is no different than coming in and say we bought windows and
Yeah.
tables and
Doors
chairs
and
and
lock.
beds and all that stuff,
Yeah.
so. Just be reasonable
It's a
and
pretty simple setup, to be honest with you.
I mean-
There's nothing crazy.
our reimbursable expenses have been a little bit higher for the mere fact that we've been buying up material and trying to do some of the work
Mhm.
ourselves, keep costs down. I mean,
Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
All right.
You guys have your
Thanks.
powwow. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Luann, are you available?
Yeah.
Me?
Good morning.
Okay, calendar for this week. Tonight at 6 o'clock is the Jackson County Conference
Oh,
Board
we do
meeting.
have a meeting tonight.
We do have a meeting tonight, yes, we do.
Not
That's what I thought.
911.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
911's tomorrow
Thank
night.
you.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So that's for all of you, if y'all decide to for that, so.
Mike might be there, might not. We don't know.
I said we had a meeting tonight. You said, no, that's not tomorrow night. We
You
have.
said we were talking 911 and you said that's
Let's
tonight.
have a meeting tonight.
We
I
were
thought you were
talking
talking about the
911.
Green Island meeting, and I was like, no, it's next.
He's grasping for straws.
He's trying to think he's sane.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, tomorrow night, Wednesday, February 7th, at 9 AM is an RTA board meeting for all of you, either in Dubuque or by Zoom. 4:30 tomorrow afternoon is a Wednesdays are possible meeting at Innovate 120 for NIN. Chief Billman going to that. Also at 4:30 is an Isaac's Directors Meeting in Des Moines for Mike. And at 6 o'clock is a 911 meeting. Mike will be in Des Moines, obviously. So I think Don is coming in as his alternate and then is also on 911, so. Thursday night, or Thursday, February 8th, from 8 AM to 4 PM is the Isaac Statewide Supervisors Meeting in Des Moines. And Mike and Lynn will be attending that. At 11 AM is a Mississippi Valley Workforce Business Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. And at noon is the Jackson County Area Tourism Association meeting by Zoom for any of you that want to go to that.
I have it together, we build an advisory council at 5. Advisory board at 5.
On Monday.
So Thursday, the day we're talking.
Monday, February 12th at 7:30 AM is an Early Childhood Iowa Executive Committee meeting in DeWitt or by Zoom for NIN. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, February 13th at 9 AM. Right after the meeting at 11 o'clock will be the annual meeting of the Green Island Drainage District. Here in the supervisor's office, unless we decide we need to move it downstairs, but that's for all of you. At 4 PM that Tuesday is Coconut River Watershed Management Authority Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. And if for some reason tonight's meeting falls through for the conference board, then it will be next Tuesday at 6 PM, but that's just the backup date. Okay, something, I don't think the weather is gonna be a problem tonight, so we probably won't need that. The only other thing on my agenda for today is to talk about the appointment to the Conservation Board. We have one opening for gender balance. We need to have it filled by a woman. It has been advertised in the paper recently. So that decision can be made today, or you can table it. You want to wait and see if you get any other applications that come in.
Well, it's going out in today's paper,
Correct.
so I feel that we need to wait until it's been out in the paper.
Mhm.
So how long, do you want me to wait? Couple of weeks?
Sure. When's the next conservation board meeting?
Third Tuesday.
What is it?
Third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday? So you got one the 15th? Tuesday, oh, the 20th, yeah.
Thank you.
Tuesday, not
That
Thursday.
would give us 2 weeks. About.
Be nice to have somebody by then.
So it's coming out in next week's paper, yeah.
It's in
whatever.
today's
Today's
paper.
paper.
So today's paper, but we also published this back in December, correct, or November?
The conservation board did.
Yeah.
Conservation Board did, correct.
Is that sufficient? That we had it posted that people would have applied?
I don't know what date you published it, but if it was in December, it's been out there long enough that,
I can't do that.
yeah. I would think it'd been out there long enough that if anybody was interested, they would have seen it, heard about it, asked about it.
So a new appointee would not be, I mean, you could appoint them, are you talking next week?
It was done in December, we could.
If you
Hey,
appoint them on the, yeah, if you appoint them on our 20th meeting, then they have a meeting the same night.
Thanks for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not hardly feasible, to be honest, but then they would not be available till March 19th, you know.
I guess the problem I'm having is I'm getting confused because we talked about it when we had the application. You said it wasn't advertised, but they advertised. Is there a different process? Is the conservation board supposed to advertise? Are we supposed to advertise? I'm getting confused.
Right, and I don't know if the Conservation Board usually advertises or not, but it is a supervisor's appointment. So I would think that would mean it was, that's all I've ever known is that we advertise it. I haven't known that the Conservation Board's advertised it before, and I only found out about that this week. That they had advertised.
So when it's
it.
advertised this week, what did the deadline say?
10 days. Right?
What, can you give me a date?
I'm not sure I put a date on it.
Cause if the date was the 16th, then we could still appoint.
Did the Conservation Board put a date
I
to
do
apply
not-
by?
I'm
You
not
don't know.
really very good with them.
Okay,
I thought you guys were gonna talk quite honestly, so that's all.
If this is what went in, there's not an actual date, so we could look at them maybe next week.
on the 13th.
Yeah, let's put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay,
Hopefully with a conservation board member here too, we can coordinate in the future with Luann to make sure that we're all on the same page, so we don't have this confusion about who's posting what, when and where and how and all that kind of stuff. Sound awesome?
That'd be great.
Well,
I
we're
think-
fortunate to have some applicants anyway, so
Mhm.
let's see what transpires, whether we can, we'll put it on the agenda and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Is that it?
that's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Anything else before the board this morning? As most of you have heard probably in the emails, ECIA has hired a interim director at this point, so the search will be ongoing for up to
They were talking
6 months to a year.
To kind of get through the transition.
Chandra Bravada is our interim director who's been there 24 years. They made that announcement, so. Move forward. Anything else before the board?
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.